Psalms that I have read many times. I've read it on the air. I've read it personally. I know what it means. I understand. There's the 91sters out there. A lot of you guys remember the 91st and the whole legend behind that, the history of that. But the 144th Psalms is one that isn't really used very often by any of those people that are little limp biscuits in the pulpit, because it speaks for itself. And I think that everybody out there understands. She said the same thing. She goes, well, I'm going to pray. She goes, and I'm going to get my friends together, and they did. Now, later on, I know they're all together right now, and they're probably listening right now, too. And I want to say thank you, because showing the strength that these ladies have shown is a fine example of what America is all about. Okay? And this insult to decency on the part of these filth on the other side, these bottom-feeding, muckraking pieces of debris, and I have to be polite on radio. And I can't think of, there are so many expletive I use, and I am, you'll notice, very calm right now. Did you hear Mark, you hear Mark shouting right now? You hear Mark panicking right now. You know, there's a lot of people that are showing their color, and I don't like some of those colors that you're seeing from people, kind of like what we saw in 95. There's a whole bunch of us that held the line, but there's a whole bunch of people that showed their colors real quick. Okay? Now, we got a lot of work to do. So I'll basic overview here. We know that the people who were attacked and were kidnapped, that this was a high-speed sortie. Now, why are they doing this? Well, let's look at history. The American Revolution with the British regulars operated in, the pre-revolution, operated the exact same way, people. Operating out of a central government building, Boston. The aggressors sortied out at different times, scurrying out from behind their defended walls or their defended little peninsula, and trying to, quote-unquote, surprise people left and right. Now, they were successful with different actions, and people forget this. In fact, I challenge you to look at the history of 1765 to 1775. Do you remember what I said earlier this last couple months about this being like 1994, 1995? That is what we're seeing. Now, this is a test of all of your mettle. Every one of you that's listed. You will either be men or you will be slaves. You will either be free or you will be in chains. You will either stand up, you will rise up, you will shine as patriots and as men of liberty and men of the West, or you will be bootlickers. That's the only two directions you have to go here. And with every day from last Sunday, that gap is widening and widening and widening, and the breach cannot be fixed. These creatures have done something to go. I'm sorry. To me, going to a wake and going and attacking people like this in such an action is an absolute insult to our decency as Americans. It cannot be borne. Everybody goes, well, a person's dead. It's the people. It is the tradition. It is our tradition, and it is the enemy's methodology. Our tradition is to honor the dead. We have a certain level, again, the term decency is the only thing I give it. A measure of decorum and decency that we stand by. Our enemy has none. Now, I'm going to tell you something. We have people on the roads right now. One of our mechanized units is out. I don't know where they are. I know that they're deployed, but I don't know where they are. I got a notice. I got a ping flag off one of the radios, so I know they're on the road. I'm going to tell you what could happen right now. They're going down the road. Some of these idiots on the highway, could be backbaggers, could be whatever, Fed, could be the state police. They decide they're going to play Billy Bad Butt because they got some pea-brain nutcase behind the wheel of one of their vehicles, or a bunch of their vehicles. And there's going to be one hell-bent for election, kick them in the teeth, knock down, drag them out, and the bad guys are going to lose, fight. Because there isn't anybody on the other side that I can find that is going to hold back. On our side, that's going to hold back. Because everybody understands this.
Roxy.
I'm talking very level-headed to everyone and trying to force you to see the reality of how close we are right now. We are a hair's breadth away from this thing kicking off. I have been on the road, and like I said, I've been up for 2 days. I really have. I mean, I really feel like going to bed. I think I'd go for another day. I've done nothing but just eat and, drink water. And I think I had a little tea here or something. I think herbal juice, whatever it was. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, whatever it is. It's scary. But anyway, other than that,
no.
I have just been marking time. Now, a lot of you know I've been in the chat room over and over and over again. I've had people come in, they have no clue what's going on. They're making snide comments. And then finally it's like, okay, well, let's post everything again so that some of these people, well, most of those are planes, by the way. You do understand what's going on there. Well, there are characters that are playing games for a reason, but the games are all over. Now everybody is being very, very focused. Now, I will say thank you to Chad and also to, and that's the name, I can use that name, Chad, who is the RCT commander in the field, because this gentleman has put up with a whole lot. He has done a fine job of organizing the men that are on the ground. I know we have people to the north. Everybody out there is pretty well squared away and knows what's going on. Now, what we're going to do, forgive me there, to make sure one of our other radio rigs is down. What I'm going to do is, if anybody, I've heard a couple of beeps here. Do we have any callers?
Hi, Mark.
Go right ahead. Who do we have?
This is Michigan Patriot. I'm in the chat room.
Go right ahead.
Just wanted to, because, we never know what's going to happen. Okay, this raid has actually taught me something that we never know what's going to happen at any given time. So I just wanted to take this time from man to man to say thank you and for everything that you've done.
Well, I think I was on the list here, by the way, but you know what? It's interesting because we've been in motion. Actually, if it had been the case, we'd be already going forward. I mean, we actually would be. I probably would be dead. I'll be quite honest. I'm going to say something. We can't go. I know how it is. Everybody got, depending on the situation you're stuck in. I already promised before I put one of them underneath me, and I did. If anybody remembers what it is that we went through before, and they bragged for 8 hours in the courtroom how they tried desperately to kill me. I'm not bragging about that. I'm just reminding everybody that, like you said, you do not know. Of course, you can walk out in front of a bus out here right now in the next 15 seconds, too. Be careful getting the mail. It's very dangerous, right? You and I both know that. But this whole thing to me is so disgusting because it's the only way that they thought they could get away with this. That, God help them if they, I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to say that yet. But I know tit for tat what can happen here. You just use your imagination. I know tit for tat what can happen here now. Because if they violated that code at a funeral or at a wake like this, then there are no rules. And, there's people out there right now. My greatest concern is I have a gentleman I spent many weeks with, came back from the war, and, he's got a couple of kids. He's got 2 munchkins. Oh, they're older now. But, he did some pretty bad things. So his attitude is that he needs to do some really bad things, and his squad is out there right now. And I have no idea where they are. I'm going to tell you something. That man is a good person. But that man is a professional, I know how to kill you kind of guy. And I spent a lot of time with him because he wasn't thinking he was right for being around on this planet because of what he'd done. He's with us. He's a good man. He might be listening right now. But if they come across that they're going to try and play anything else, this man will do what he has done for many years, and he will not stop hunting until he has done what he thinks is the whole job. And to be quite honest, the other side, if he goes after them, I would not want to be any of them. That's the situation we're in right now.